We are going to shake it up with our next presenter, Megan Fenn, a Korean adoptee and American mom of 3. She is the company director of Shake It Up Creative, a design, marketing, and PR agency, and author of the book Bringing Up Brits, which you can find in our bookstore. Megan will be discussing race, empathy, and the emotional dilemmas mixed-race families experience when living abroad.
Hi, everyone. My name is Megan. People call me Meg, and I'm a Korean adoptee who grew up in several different states in America. Straight after graduating from college, I moved to and traveled around Europe and Southeast Asia. I now live in the UK. I'm married to an Englishman, and we have 3 cross-cultural mixed-race children. Now, my kids are very British through and through. But when they tell people they're half American, a lot of times their friends don't actually believe them. I am a mother. I'm also the director of Shake It Up Creative, a design and marketing agency. And in my spare time, I write and I blog. My book, Bringing Up Brits, is the inspiration behind this talk and the reason I already know some of you here at this conference. During my entire childhood, and bear in mind I mainly grew up in Texas and Tennessee, I hated the fact that I looked different, significantly different to all my friends, to the whole world, my whole world that I was growing up in. There was a boy who asked me, "How can you see?" One of my teachers asked me to explain China to my geography class. I couldn't. These are just 2 examples out of hundreds of similar experiences that I could share with you. My wonderful mother tried to inject Korean culture into my life by getting me a Korean dress, making me kimchi, buying me books. I understand that now, but at the time, I rejected all of it. I was embarrassed and mortified by all of it. She couldn't understand. My mother, in her mind, she had taken me from a rich culture and she wanted me to have that. But I just wanted to be an American. I wanted to be seen as an American. I wanted to be accepted as an American, just like everybody else. As an adult, I dreaded the simple question, "Where are you from?" Simple question. Most people I ask this to have a one-word answer. I always envied this. I never had a one-word answer. I never had a single narrative. So when I say America, a one-word answer, I would get funny expressions, more questions, disbelief even. So of course I felt obliged to explain, well, I was adopted. I was actually born in Korea. And then I would get people telling me, "Oh, I love Korean food," or, "Oh, I'm so sorry about the adoption part." Why is this a challenge? Well, it's to do with identity and a sense of belonging. Is it my nationality or is it my race? Is it my culture or is it my ethnicity? And now that my home is in England, my sense of belonging becomes even more complex, but we don't have time to go into that today. Amazingly, there's a book called Choosing Ethnicity, Negotiating Race. It explores how Korean adoptees who grew up in America feel about their identities. One of the conclusions finds that adoptees who do not explore their ethnic identity early on are less likely to ever do so. For me, it's always been my nationality and my culture. When I was a child, I would sometimes forget that I didn't look like my brothers and sisters. I would literally surprise myself in the mirror. Now that I have children of my own, I look at them, I see myself in them, I feel comfortable and happy in my own skin. There is the exploration of my ethnic identity. I feel strongly about instilling in my children my own American culture. I feel it's important that they identify with American traditions, places, people, things, food. And it's worked. They love all things American. Well, all the good things, that is. But when they come home and they tell me they heard racist remarks against them, even though they might not have been maliciously meant, old feelings come to the surface and race comes to the forefront. So how much does race matter? Well, I've discovered through having children that it doesn't really matter in the way that I thought it did when I was a child. It's part of who I am, but it's not the main thing that defines me, and it's not the main thing that defines my children. I want them to be proud of who they are, and as a parent, that means acceptance, identity, and belonging are hugely important. My children are so much more chilled out about looking different to their friends than I ever was. At school, when asked if she eats dog, my 14-year-old daughter quipped back, "Why, yes, it's my favorite." Perhaps it's because at home their sense of belonging is very strong and there are fewer unanswered questions, mainly questions about birth parents. But it still stings. I know it does. Being adopted from Korea into an all-American family and now raising my family in England means that I have a diverse identity. But I don't necessarily identify with the place that I was born. For me, identity is found in belonging. Having children of my own gives me that feeling of belonging in the truest sense. And that's something that I discovered I had always been searching for. So I ask you, how much does race matter to you? Thank you.